Hi, welcome back to the channel. Before I get into this video, I do want to say I have been going through something recently that is really quite tough. If any of you follow me on social media, you might have seen that one of my best friends did pass away just over a week ago. These sort of uni videos obviously do not prepare you for things outside of uni, and one of those things unfortunately is grief, just different types of grief. It is something that does impact everyone's life, and I would just like to say, if you are looking for something good to do and you're wanting to maybe do something nice this weekend or this week whenever I actually get around to posting this, please consider to donating a couple of charities. The main one for me at the moment is Diabetes UK. I've left the link down below if you want to donate, but I'll get into this video now. If you've been following my channel, you know that recently I have been doing a series. I think it's going to be a 3-part series. I said it was going to be a 4-part series, but I don't really think I've got anything else to say really that would cover a full video after I do this one. But the last of the series is about budgeting. The first video was about tips that I feel like all freshers need to know, and the second video was about stuff to take to halls or to a flat for uni. I feel like the one thing that people don't immediately think about when they go to uni, well, that's quite a privileged statement to say. A lot of people don't necessarily think about it when they go to uni, but I know for about a lot of people's lives, budgeting is a huge factor as to whether or not they'll even be able to go to uni. Obviously in Scotland we do get tuition fees covered by SAS, but that doesn't cover things like rent, that doesn't cover things like food, car, if you've got a car, it doesn't cover books, it doesn't cover that. A lot of people need to get a job. There is student loan, but obviously that's, do you know, even still with student loan, it doesn't necessarily cover a lot of people's rent. Rent prices in Scotland, unis are kind of ridiculous. University halls are ridiculously priced because they know students will rely on them to be that price, but that's just, I'll go into that another time, but it's just an annoying thing. I do think there is an issue when it comes to rent prices in the UK. Annoying, but anyway, won't get into that. So budgeting wise, I'm just going to give my top couple of tips. I'm not saying what I say is the be all end all of budgeting. Everyone budgets a different way, I will put that. Everyone has different factors in their life that affects how they budget, so do not expect yourself to have to be budgeting the same way as your flatmates are budgeting, or the same way like if your older sibling used to budget, or if you know people have gone to uni and they budgeted. You do not have to follow what they did. So the main thing that I would say for the start of budgeting, before you do literally anything else, is to actually work out how much income you're going to be having a month, if you're going to have any. Obviously, like, a lot of people do get student loan. I myself have student loan. Obviously a lot of people work jobs, a lot of people have student loans, so that's going to count as income. If you have a bursary, that will count as income. If you get anything extra, if you've got a side business, I have a wee Etsy that I run, any money that you get profit wise from that, that will count as income. Just anything like that. So you want to sit and work out how much money you're going to be having coming in. Maybe each month, if you get money if you get money to cover the whole term at the start of the term, you should look at how much, if you split that into the months that you need to spend. That is a great way to do it, is to see how much you're spending either week, or how much you're gaining either weekly or monthly, the start of the year, end of the year, etc. Your job income, your loan, finding out what you'll be incoming roughly. Obviously a lot of people, including myself, work part-time jobs with 0-hour contracts, so you don't know entirely how much you're going to be getting, but just a rough guess is a really good start, and that can kind of help you plan how to budget. I've got a friend who sits and makes a list, like a full-on Excel spreadsheet, and budgets for the entire semester. I can't stick to one of those. I am quite spontaneous when it comes to nights out and things. It's always a will she, won't she. I can be either like, yeah, I'm gonna come out and go all out, or I won't go out at all, so I don't really follow a budgeting like day by day sheet. The one thing you do need to consider no matter what you're doing is your expenses. If you're only going to do 2 things when it comes to budgeting, make sure it's finding out your income and finding out your expenses, and then working from there. But yeah, so you just want to make sure, like, if you're trying to work out a budget where you have money left over, that you want to have a higher income than your expenses, but like I said, that's not always possible, so don't kick yourself. Like, everyone's financial situation is different, and no one can judge you for your financial situation. Expenses are whatever you spend money on. You can do it by essential expenses and then everything else, or just your overall expenses. Essential things 100% are stuff like rent, it's stuff like food, it's like your weekly shop, things that you need to survive. And then obviously you get other expenses that are things like, sorry, I've got a wee list here just because I always get myself off track in these videos. It's things like extracurriculars. I know at Stirling, if you're joining like a sports team, you have to pay the sports union one-time membership, you have to pay the club membership one time, and then you have to pay for the sports facility membership. So that can kind of add up. If you're joining like a club, you have to pay the clubs and societies membership. I don't really know the cost there because I've never done it, but there's usually a bit more cost there as well. If you're planning on having like a takeout every week, you might need to budget that in. If you want to go, if you're cinema fanatic and go every week, you might want to put that in. If you've got a car, you'll need to put your car expenses. Like if you pay for your car monthly, you'll need to include that. Then your insurance, then your petrol costs, any car parking sort of fees that comes with like your uni. So where you shop is a huge factor for me. A lot of people who go to uni in Scotland kind of already know a lot of the places in Scotland, but for example, there's cheaper supermarkets and then there's more expensive supermarkets. M&S, like Marks and Spencer's, and Waitrose for example, are known as a bit dearer supermarkets. I would personally not shop there as a student. I find the food a lot more expensive than it is necessarily at Tesco or Asda. But then on that note, while Tesco is quite relatively, I'd say, cheaper compared to other supermarkets, Aldi is the place to be. If you have an Aldi or a Lidl next to you or near you, they are so good for doing your weekly shop. I can do a weekly shop at Aldi and Tesco for about £10 maybe, and that's with like getting some bits and bobs. If you plan ahead your weekly shop as well, that is a huge factor. Making a meal plan on that kind of planning ahead is really good as well. Obviously you don't need to have it every single day. This is what I'll have plan. I like to kind of be like buy 4 or 5 meals in a week, or plan for 4 or 5 meals, and then if I want something else I can either use the scraps of what I've got or I can go out or whatever. You don't want any food waste as a student. You probably won't have that many, to be fair. Like I feel like we didn't really ever have much food waste. This is where it gets a little bit fun. There is apps you can use that kind of work as budgeting apps. A lot of people talk about an app called Cleo. I used it for a while. I wasn't necessarily that big a fan of it. It didn't connect to my banking the way I thought it would. It was quite irritating. It kind of made me feel bad about a lot of the things that I bought, even if it was essential things. It was like, oh, you've spent this much money on food this month, and I was like, yeah, but I need food to survive. It's not like I'm going out for takeaways and stuff. So I personally didn't like the budgeting app that I used. There are different budgeting apps that other people might prefer or that might have been better for me, but I didn't want to get into and try them just after I didn't really like the one that I did use. The one thing that I have used on and off throughout uni, and I say on and off because I do go through phases where I use it all the time or I don't use it at all, is Monzo. Monzo is, this is the thing that I think a lot of people get confused by. Monzo is a bank. It is not a budgeting app. Monzo is a literal bank. It is a full bank account. You get a bank card, you get a debit card. I'm pretty sure it's a Visa. Actually, I can tell you, it's either a Visa or a MasterCard. Monzo is a MasterCard. As you can see there, I'm covering up all my numbers because I don't want people to steal my money. It's a lovely coral colour. I think they are not coral anymore actually. I think they're more orange, but my card's quite old. But Monzo is great for budgeting. It automatically sorts every single thing you spend into different categories so you can see how much you're spending. Monzo also does the thing that's really good. I know some banks have started to do it recently. Mine started to do it last month but I've had it on Monzo for years, so I'm used to it on Monzo, where they round up all your spare change into a pot. So if you're spending something, you know how like, not everyone does this, but a lot of people, if they see something that's like £1.97, they'll just be like, oh, that's £2. Monzo takes that sort of mentality and it will take the £1.97, send it to the thing, but that 3p change, like to the nearest pound, gets transferred into a savings pot on your Monzo app. You can transfer it back if you want to, but it's like a cute wee way of saving up the pennies. I used to do it and I got to like £28 one day when I noticed, and I was like, oh, so I just transferred that over. So that's like one way that kind of helps. And then you can treat yourself like a night out or something. Obviously some people can't do nights out at £28. I can because I am a lightweight. But we won't go into that. Honey is a web. A lot of YouTubers mention this at the start of their videos when they're sponsored. I'm obviously not sponsored, but I actually really do like Honey. Honey is a web browser extension. I think you can definitely get it on Safari, because I've got it on Safari. I think you can get it on Chrome and stuff as well. I don't know because I don't use them. But it's a web browser extension, and basically it'll, when you go on any website that you're buying things on, I think it literally works for the weirdest websites as well. Like, it works for everything unimaginable. It'll come up with a wee pop-up bubble, usually when you get to the checkout, and it's like, honey has found some discount codes, would you like to try them? And if you, it sometimes takes just under a minute, but it will start applying discount codes until it finds one that gives you the best thing. Sometimes it doesn't, it's not able to get you any discount, but when it does get you a discount, it can be so helpful. Even things like Deliveroo, Just Eat, Pretty Little Thing, clothes stores. But honestly, I really recommend Honey, it's so good. If you're a student, check for student discount. The most insane places will give you student discount. I was about to say that STA gives you student discount on flights, but they went bankrupt this weekend and I have lost my flight money, so I won't recommend that. But there is tons of places where you can get student discount. So there's a website called My Uni Days. Sign up to that, it's completely free once you've got like your institution email and stuff. I think there's other things like NUS, I've never used that. Student Beans, not used that, but that's another one. Some bank accounts, when you open a student bank account, which are really helpful, I'll get onto that in a minute, offer you rewards. So Nationwide, for example, when I opened a student bank account with them, they sent me like a wee gift box. They've done it twice. I don't think they were meant to do it the second year, but they did. And it was like, had like chocolate, had like a door stopper, had like a wee game and stuff like that in it for like settling into uni. Santander 123 student account, I don't know if they still do, but they were giving away free 4-year, was it a 4-year rail card or something, which can save you quite a bit of money in the long term. And rail cards are chef's kiss. If you are a big coffee fanatic, I was not. I do not like coffee, I do not like tea, I do like a wee hot chocolate, but ever since I went to America and came back, I really like iced tea, like flavoured iced tea, especially peach iced tea. Love the stuff. The one thing I will say is sometimes it's cheaper to make these things yourself. Coffee, for example, I know it might not taste exactly the same as like a Starbucks, but if you make yourself a coffee at least once or twice a week instead of buying it every day from a coffee shop, you will save yourself a couple pounds, and by the end of the year that really does add up. So I would recommend just not having takeaway coffee every single day. The other one thing I will say about travel, if you're buying travel anywhere such as trains, you really want to be checking the websites like Trainline, TrainPal. They are really helpful. I believe TrainPal, I've not used it, but I believe it splits journeys up ticket wise to save you money, because sometimes it's cheaper to buy the exact same journey. So say you're going like Glasgow to London, sometimes it's cheaper to get the ticket from Glasgow to Manchester than Manchester to London on the same train, but 2 separate tickets. So just keep an eye out for that. I think that website does that for you. And then Trainline just kind of gives you slightly cheaper prices anyway usually, so I'd recommend that. Get a job as well if you can. Obviously there is a lot of pressure on people to have a job while at uni. A lot of people I know don't, and they're fine. I have a job, I've always had a job, to be fair. I have always worked. I've never been out of work since I was 16. I started at a pizza shop down here. I moved up to Stirling, got a transfer to their pizza shop with the same company, came back here, worked in the same shop, went back to Stirling, worked in that same pizza shop, went away for the summer, did not go back to that pizza shop. I now work at Pizza Hut instead. Represent. And I've been working there since. So if you can get a job, definitely go for it. Obviously jobs are hard to balance sometimes while you're at uni. I'm going into my 4th year and I've personally not had that much issues with it, but I think that's just because I'm quite a chill out person anyway. But yeah, so getting a job is a great way to kind of be able to budget, but obviously it's not as simple as just saying get a job. So I know that like obviously a lot of people will be sitting like, yo, I can't just get a job, and I respect that. I'm just saying, like, if you want to get a job, try to get a job. If you can't get a job, it's not the end of the world. It might be a bit harder, but it's not the end of the world. But yes, that's kind of my budgeting tips. That was really unhelpful, this video. I really thought it was going to go somewhere. I really thought I was going to do something with this, and it's not been that good. But like I said, I have recently been having quite a not the best of times. I'm not saying that's the reason, I'm just saying I have not been having the best of times. So if anyone does need anything, feel free to message me like per usual. I always put it at the end of these videos, to be fair. I'll link my instas and stuff, I'll link my Insta and my Twitter below. Sometimes I put my TikTok in just for enjoyment purposes, but you're more than welcome to follow me and message me on those. I won't reply to Twitter at the moment because I've deleted the app, but I say deleted the app. I sometimes go on my laptop on it, but it's not my phone. But I will reply to Insta because I'm usually on there quite a lot, as I find it less toxic and more thrilling. If you have any videos that you want to see from me regarding uni, let me know. I'm moving back at the just in over a week time, so I will be making a moving in vlog. The sad part is my flatmates are not moving in until later on. I don't think Tammy's moving in until late September maybe, and Neve isn't moving in until probably October time. So you will be getting a lot of videos of just me chilling with probably Tom, because he's moving in a few days before I am into his flat. I have warned him that we will be spending a lot of time together this year because I am usually a social hermit, and it's so annoying that just as my social drive has picked up again, Corona has happened, so it's not even like I can go do social things, but is what it is. I'm also planning on joining the lacrosse team. I paid my membership recently. I'm really excited. The girls all seem really lovely. So who knows, maybe I'll vlog that at some point. Probably not, out of scaredness, out of sheer secondhand embarrassment. I probably won't. But anyway, why am I oversharing again? This is so bad. I'm gonna go before I start crying about stuff that I don't want to be crying about on video. But if you need anything, let me know, and I'll see you in the next video.